Hello there, ladies and epic gamers. Welcome to another Green Quest gameplay video. In this video, I'm gonna be teaching you epic gamers how to become I've already told you much tips and tricks, as well as guided you from the early game to the mid game stages. At this point, you should have no more problems in the late game and in the end game stages.
If that's the case, then why this video?
This video exists just for the sake of completing the adventures of our character Mr. Hick and his trusty companion Frog Champ. So if you're watching this and you don't know what's going on, I highly recommend you to go watch the previous video. But if you don't have the time, then here's a little recap from the last video.
After the Prince of Thieves' death, the council members saw potential in Mr. Hick. They realized they can abuse him, use his talents for their own benefit. After all, everything has a price. They presented him 5 other targets, each increasing in strength and difficulty as the list goes on. He hunted them down, all the while getting stronger after each and every encounter. One by one, they fell to his might. The Orc Chieftain, the Baron of Bones, the Muata Chosen, the Ancient Troll, and finally, the Shadow Dragon. With the dragon's death, the path to the Imperial capital is clear and open. Mr. Hick knows not what he might encounter in the old capital, but one thing is for certain: suffering awaits.
And this is where our story continues. So we just defeated the Shadow Dragon, the 6th and final boss we needed to defeat to gain access to the old Imperial capital. And with this, we have now entered the late game. In this stage of the game, there's not much else to do, because by the time you reach this stage, you're usually done collecting all the collectibles such as the lore pieces and paintings, as well as being overpowered and overleveled because you've been farming like hell in the mid game. So yeah, there's not much else left for us to do, except keep exploring dungeons and trying to finish the game. From here on out, dungeon progression sequence becomes linear, meaning you can finish a dungeon first and defeat the boss before moving on to the other dungeons. Now allow me to talk about things I have never mentioned before. Blacksmithing. Yeah, okay, I know. I should have mentioned this way earlier. In fact, I should have mentioned this in the past 2 videos, so forgive me. Probably because our main source of dealing damage is from spells and not physical damage. Anyway, blacksmithing. Here you can upgrade your weapon or armor. You can either use steel ingot, omnium crystal, or dark essence as upgrade materials. The better the material, the better the upgrades. Now, steel only increases 1 stat, plus damage and plus HP. As for the crystal and the essence, it increases 2 stats, plus damage, plus crit, and plus HP, plus evade. The crystal and the essence both have the same increase in stats. Only difference is that when using dark essence as the upgrade material, the upgrade is free and doesn't cost anything. So it's better to use dark essences for later upgrades as they become increasingly expensive. Take note that it doesn't upgrade your equipments. The upgrades directly increases your base stats, meaning even if you are unarmed or naked, the upgrades still take effect. So with that said, you are effectively fusing your own body with steel, crystal, and essence in its upgrade. Now, as you have observed in the game, there are no item rarities. Usually, your typical role-playing game has item rarity classifications. There's usually common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, and mythical. In Grim Quest, there's none.
So chicken, which items are rare and which are not?
Well, that's up for you to decide. For me, I consider an item rare if that item can only be obtained once in a playthrough. And in Grim Quest, such items exists. One example is the paintbrush of the Mad Genius. This item is obtained when you collect all of the paintings of Nimai the Mad, and you can only get it once per playthrough. If you drop it, it's gone. If you sell it, it's gone. Unless you buy it back, of course. This item is near useless to me. I don't use it and it's been sitting in my stash ever since I got it. But since you can only get this item once in a playthrough, that's what makes it valuable. If you're a collector in RPGs like me, then you know what I'm talking about. Next up is pathing. Now, pathing is important when exploring a dungeon. Backtracking through already explored dungeon tiles is dangerous. You risk getting ambushed if you do that.
So, what is the best way to path?
Well, it's simple. Zigzagging. Like how you would eat a corn cob. Do layer by layer, like so. If you find the exit and decide to continue exploring, always make sure to leave an unexplored tile path leading to the exit, like this one right here. Now, some additional things on boss farming. Bosses always drop an item. All the bosses we fought so far has dropped an item and they are all random. But some bosses have fixed item drops, meaning they will always drop the same item over and over again when farmed. And these items are very, very expensive when sold. Now, I won't be telling you which bosses have consistent drops because spoilers of course, but I will tell you that these bosses are from the epic quests. now that the final boss in the main story is defeated, we are now done with the late game. All that's left are the epic quests.
But that is a story for another time. For Mr. Hick has served his purpose and is now free from the influence and manipulations of the dark. What has become of him, no one knows. Only time will tell. But one thing is for certain. The suffering is no more. Or is it?
And this marks the end of this video. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this, and thank you. Thank you for watching the video, as well as thank you for tuning in to the adventures of Mr. Hick. As always, if you have questions regarding the game, just ask away in the comment section below, or join the Green Quest official Discord server. And yes, I am well aware that this is the third time I've promoted the server, so just join it. Please. Again, thank you for watching the video, and see you guys in the next one.